Cappuccino and a latte look almost identical. A flat white and a cortado sound like the same thing. And don't even get started on macchiato, because what Starbucks calls a macchiato and what an Italian barista calls a macchiato are two completely different drinks. In this video, we are going through every major type of coffee drink, what it is, how it's made, what it tastes like, and when you'd actually want to order it. By the end, you'll know the entire menu. Let's start at the beginning. Before we get into specific drinks, you need to understand one thing. Almost every coffee drink on this list is built on a single foundation: espresso. Espresso one shot, 30 milliliters, finished in 3 sips. But here's what most people don't know. Espresso was invented in 1903 specifically to save time. Italian factory owners needed workers to drink coffee faster during breaks. The machine forced water through grounds under pressure and cut brew time from minutes to 30 seconds. The word espresso doesn't mean strong, it means fast. If a shot tastes burnt, the water was too hot. If it tastes sour, it wasn't hot enough. Good espresso has a natural sweetness underneath the bitterness. No sugar needed. That's how you know it was done right. Ristretto, same grounds as espresso. Half the water, half the time. The interesting part, shorter extraction actually makes it sweeter, not more bitter, because bitterness develops later in the extraction process. Ristretto stops before bitterness kicks in and pulls mostly sugars. Most people assume smaller means harsher. It's the opposite. Try one if you ever see it on the menu. Americano espresso diluted with hot water. Simple concept. But the origin story is more interesting than the drink itself. During World War II, American soldiers stationed in Italy found local espresso unbearably strong. They started asking baristas to water it down to something closer to the drip coffee they had back home. Italians watched this happen and called it an americano. The name was not a compliment. It stuck anyway. Cappuccino 1/3 espresso, 1/3 steamed milk, 1/3 foam. The foam should be thick enough to hold its shape. The strange fact, in Italy ordering a cappuccino after 11 in the morning marks you immediately as a tourist. Italians believe milk is heavy and belongs only in the morning. After lunch, you drink espresso. No exceptions. There's no law about it. It's just considered deeply wrong. Latte, the mildest espresso drink. Mostly milk, small amount of coffee, thin layer of microfoam on top. Here's the fact most people don't know. In Italy, if you walk into a bar and ask for a latte, you get a glass of cold milk, because latte means milk. The full name is caffè latte, coffee milk. Skip the cafe and you get exactly what you asked for. Order carefully. Flat white, smaller than a latte, stronger, smoother foam. Australia and New Zealand both claim to have invented it. Neither will admit the other might be right. The actual difference that matters, the milk in a flat white is steamed to a thinner, silkier microfoam and fully incorporated into the espresso rather than sitting on top. You taste the coffee more clearly because there's less foam diluting it. When Starbucks added it to their menu in 2015, specialty coffee shops collectively groaned, then watched their sales increase. Cortado equal parts espresso and warm milk. Comes from Spain. The word means cut. The espresso is cut by milk, not overwhelmed by it. The interesting thing about cortado, it exists because Spanish workers wanted something stronger than a latte but softer than straight espresso. A practical drink invented by people who needed to get back to work. Still served in a small glass almost everywhere that takes it seriously. The glass matters. Ceramic changes the temperature too fast. Macchiato, the real one espresso with a small dollop of foam on top. 40 milliliters total. The word means stained. The espresso is stained with milk, barely. The fact worth knowing, what Starbucks calls a macchiato, layered, sweet espresso poured over cold milk and syrup, has essentially nothing in common with the original. It's a different drink that borrowed a name. Neither version is wrong, but if you order a macchiato in Naples, a traditional barista will hand you something the size of a wine cork, and they will consider themselves correct. Mocha espresso, steamed milk, chocolate. The most dessert-like drink on the menu, but the name is older than the drink. Mocha is a port city in Yemen that was one of the world's most important coffee trading hubs in the 15th and 16th centuries. Almost all coffee that reached Europe passed through it. The original mocha beans had a natural chocolatey flavor, which is why, centuries later, when someone combined coffee with chocolate, the name already existed. A city that no longer dominates coffee trade gave its name to a drink served in every coffee shop on earth. Cold brew coffee steeped in cold water for 12 to 24 hours. No heat. Ever. The fact that changes how you think about it. Cold water extracts different flavor compounds than hot water. Hot brewing pulls brightness and acidity. Cold brewing pulls chocolate, caramel, and sweetness. It's not just cold coffee. It's chemically a different drink. Also why cold brew keeps in the fridge for 2 weeks. The low acidity means it doesn't spoil quickly. Hot coffee goes stale in hours. Pour over is a manual brewing method. Hot water poured slowly and deliberately over coffee grounds in a filter. No machine, no pressure, just gravity. The process takes 3 to 4 minutes and requires attention. You pour in stages, allowing the coffee to bloom, controlling the flow rate and the extraction. The result is a clean, bright, transparent cup of coffee that highlights the individual characteristics of the bean more clearly than any espresso-based drink. If you're using a high-quality single-origin coffee, pour over is the best way to actually taste what makes it special. Popular methods include the Chemex, the V60, and the Kalita Wave, each with slightly different geometries that produce slightly different results. French press is one of the oldest and simplest brewing methods still widely used. Coarsely ground coffee steeped in hot water for 4 minutes, then a metal mesh plunger pressed down to separate the grounds from the liquid. Because French press uses no paper filter, the natural oils from the coffee beans stay in the cup. The result is a heavier, fuller-bodied, slightly cloudier cup than pour over. Less clean, more rich. It's forgiving, inexpensive, and produces a genuinely excellent cup when done correctly. The main mistake people make is using too fine grounds, which slip through the mesh and make the coffee gritty. Coarse grind. 4 minutes. Press slowly. That's all you need to know. Espresso tonic. The espresso tonic is the newest drink on this list. It emerged from Scandinavian specialty coffee culture in the early 2000s and has slowly spread globally. It's exactly what it sounds like. A shot of espresso poured over tonic water and ice, sometimes with a slice of citrus. The combination sounds wrong. It tastes surprisingly right. The bitterness of the tonic and the intensity of the espresso balance each other, and the carbonation gives it a completely different texture to any other coffee drink. It's refreshing, complex, and genuinely unlike anything else on this list. If you see it on a menu at a specialty coffee shop and you've never tried it, order it. So here's the simple guide to the whole list. If you want the purest coffee experience, espresso or ristretto. No distractions. If you want black coffee but longer, americano. Same idea, more volume. If you want milk but strong coffee first, flat white or cortado. If you want milk and coffee balanced equally, cappuccino. If you want something mild and creamy, latte. If you want something cold and smooth, cold brew or nitro cold brew. If you want to actually taste the coffee bean itself, pour over. If you want coffee that feels like a dessert, mocha. And if you want to surprise yourself, espresso tonic. The one thing all of these have in common, they start with good coffee. A bad espresso shot will ruin a cappuccino just as surely as it ruins a straight espresso. The quality of the base is everything. Now you know the whole menu. Next time you're standing at a coffee shop counter trying to decide, you actually know what you're choosing between. If this was useful, there's a lot more coming on this channel.